volume tonight? Golden Knights at home against Arizona, the Coyotes, or is it UNLV at home against Air Force?
It's not close, and it usually isn't, even if they're not home at the same time. But the Knights usually outdrawn by a wide margin. Tonight, it's about a 7-to-1 ratio. And especially when you have a price on the Knights where they're at minus 240, and you have people laying a price like that, which is still what we're expecting to see the rest of the day. So it's the Knights will have a lot more handle on their game than the Rebels will on theirs.
Yeah, I know nobody's going to be jumping on the UNLV side the way they're playing right now. Going back to the Knights for a second, on a game like tonight when it is, like you said, a high number at minus 240, and it's a spot coming off a loss, a bad loss that to Columbus on Saturday, that you would expect a big effort out of them. Will you see more money on the minus 240 on the money line tied up in maybe parlays, or will they go ahead and take the puck line?
We'll see a lot more on the goal line tonight, especially when you're still getting a plus like that, and the way that we've seen the Knights over the last year and a half of what they've been doing covering that puck line when they've been winning games in the last couple of minutes. So a lot of people will turn to that plus money rather than laying the 240.
Going into the trade deadline,
this is interesting.
Do you think we should be a buyer or a aggressive buyer? I know Dave has an opinion on one player that they should get.
I tossed in a couple, and I know that, particularly with the Columbus guy, Panarin, it would be short-term because he's already said he's going into the free agent market. But he's an explosive scorer. You've got Stone from Ottawa, who appears to be available. I might gamble on Panarin because they'll have to pay him as a free agent, but I think the location, Las Vegas, might be a lure for him. And this team needs a sniper badly. If they're going to me, Jeff, they're not going to be able to make a serious cup run without getting an additional sniper on offense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they need some more to what they have right now. The tough thing for them is the way you look at the standings, they look like they're pretty much going to be a solid number 3 and playing either San Jose or Calgary in the first round, whoever doesn't win the division. So it's going to be tough for them to overcome that 3 spot. They're going to be digging out of that hole in the first round. They definitely need more help than where they're at right now.
Going to the NBA tonight, Jeff, we got a couple good games. Started off with the Lakers and the Hawks. Got LeBron back. How is the action going on the Laker game heading into the All-Star break?
It's been pretty one-sided on the Lakers so far. We're sitting at -5, which we opened 5.5 yesterday, but once it got down to 5, it's been all public on that, and pretty one-sided on the total on the over, where we opened 236.5 up to 238. Obviously, we see the Lakers don't play much defense. This is one of those spots that we're expecting Lakers money. It's our last game before the All-Star break, coming off the blowout loss to Philadelphia. And the way they're positioned in the standings right now, 2.5 games out of the 8th spot, this is one game they really cannot afford to lose going forward. So we're seeing a lot of people tie the Lakers up in the money line on this game.
I think this next game is one that both teams are really going to want to win. And that makes for a game that's entertaining, especially with the rivalry factor as well. And that's the Celtics and 76ers.
Yeah, the Sixers have lost a couple times at Boston already, and now the Celtics are without Kyrie Irving tonight. So we've seen this number go up from 5 up to 7, as high as 7. And the 76ers starting 5, they've had a couple games under their belt. They've looked really, really solid so far. And just like you mentioned, seeing both teams that want to win, I think it's going to be more emotional on the Sixers side. The Celtics, I think, will want to prove something without Irving, but I think the Sixers want to prove a little bit more with having a couple losses to Boston already.
You've got Utah heading in to play Golden State tonight. We've seen Utah be able to be a little pesky sometimes against this Warrior team. Do you see that tonight, or is all the money coming Warriors?
Well, I opened this game a little bit higher on the Golden State side just because it's the last game of the night by 2.5 hours. So we're going to have all of our built-in liability. Yesterday, the favorites went 8-1. If we get that early on, we're going to have a lot of liability on the Warriors side tonight. So the public's just going to bet the Warriors the rest of the night, even though Draymond Green and Iguodala are questionable. But, the tough thing with this Warrior team is they played a tough game at Phoenix where they didn't cover the number. Same thing with Miami, where they easily could have lost that game to Miami. It's which Warrior team will show up, the one that acts like the postseason team or the one that treats the regular season like the preseason. But I think heading to the All-Star break, they do play at Portland tomorrow as their last game. So, you got two that you got to look at with them. But I think that you're going to see more of a motivated effort tonight from Golden State.
The AAF has a week under its belt. I think a lot of people are surprised by the volume in the first week. Were you? And did you watch any of the football?
Well, the volume on the games was what we take on an average college basketball game. It wasn't really saying anything that was to write home about.
Okay.
A lot of what we took was differences on the totals between us and other shops. So it wasn't a lot of handicapping by the public yet. I think it was too new of a product for them to jump in right away. But I expect it to pick up, and all 4 games this weekend are going to be televised. And I did see a couple quarters of a couple of the games, and I know they want to emphasize scoring, and they got that in the last game, but they're going to need to pick that up a little bit more to keep everyone focused on this. I did see a lot of missed passes and drop passes, and they need these skill position players to do a little bit better job on that end to make it more exciting and get some scoring over the totals. I think the general public might become disinterested in the league.
Jeff, was most of the action from recreational players, or did you have some of your guys that you consider sharp in there hitting it first week?
It was mostly the sharp play that was just betting middles between the totals when you saw movement. One of the things I left with my guys when the first 2 games went under on Saturday night as they were played at the same time, I told them the reaction here is they're going to bet the next 2 games on Sunday under, thinking that's going to be the trend of the league, which they did. And Sunday's totals went 1-1, but that's the type of sharp action we saw.
You know what I like is when I make a really bad prediction, and it takes almost no time to get exposed as exactly that. And I think it was about, 6 weeks ago at the most, where I said, he's getting kind of old, and he'll still probably be in the mix every now and then. I don't think Mickelson's going to win anymore until he goes on the Champions Tour. He won. He won over the weekend, and I know what's happening now. All of a sudden, here come the prices back down on him, and I'm sure he's going to get some action in the Masters or in some of the majors because Lefty got out there and won decisively.
Yeah, and we saw considerable action on him last week at 25-1, and that caused an effect, like you mentioned. His odds have gone down to 25-1 at the Masters. We have large liability on him. And when we get the U.S. Open odds up, it's at Pebble Beach again, and that's the one thing everyone's going to talk about is he has a win at Pebble under his belt this season, and he'll be highly supported at Pebble Beach for the U.S. Open, too.
I think it's still good for the game, too. It's not like I was rooting against him. I'm a Mickelson fan. I think he's a positive for the game, and to get him and Tiger still being relevant, I think that's only a plus for professional golf. This week, it's the Genesis Open, and Dustin Johnson looks like a really heavy favorite.
Yeah, he's the 8-1, the only one in single digits. And the one thing I would say is don't put too much stock in the results that you saw last week because you had poor weather conditions and a Pro-Am format, which altogether didn't lend itself to a lot of guys playing to their true form. So even though Dustin Johnson finished 45th last week, he's still a prohibitive favorite this week at 8-1. He's got a fabulous history at Riviera, and this is right up his alley. So, he's the definite starting point, but it's a strong field. You got Justin Thomas at 12, Rahm at 14, Bryson DeChambeau. He's been getting supported well. He opened 16. He's down to 14-1. And then, of course, you got Tiger and Phil at 20-1.
Heading over to soccer, big week of soccer, a lot of stuff to talk about. Manchester City and Liverpool, clear favorites, but I know you're going to probably find us some value. What are you looking at, Jeff?
Well, if you're looking at the Premier League futures now, Manchester City has just overtaken Liverpool as the favorite again. There was a time when Liverpool was running as a favorite, but Man City has caught them on points, even though Liverpool has a match in hand. But we have Man City minus 140, Liverpool at 5-4 plus 125, and then you go up from there. Tottenham is at 25-1, and no other team has a chance outside of Tottenham. They're in the hundreds to up to 1,000. So it's really a two-horse race between Man City and Liverpool, and Man City's really trending in the right direction right now.
So would that be something, obviously you're not going to get a bargain price the next time they take the field, but, you got to think that they're kind of a go-with team right now, the way Manchester City's playing, right?
Yeah, and we've already seen that reflected in the price for when they play in the Champions League next week. their price has gone up by about 25 cents just the way their form is in.
All right. Too bad there's nothing going on at the Superbook, right? I mean, there's only great. Look at tonight. This is one of those nights where I know it's not a tournament night, but this is a great night to go down and watch with the crowd because you've got some electrifying matchups in college basketball, good stuff in the NBA. The Golden Knights are in action. If you don't have a ticket to the game, Superbook's as good a place as any to watch it. I mean, this should be a real fun night down there.
Oh, absolutely. And we have props up for the NBA games on national TV tonight, the Sixers Celtics and the Warriors game. So there's plenty to keep you busy with.
There you go. You can enjoy some good food as well, have some fun, watch Mark. Are you going to go down there and play poker tonight?
No, I got to prepare for videos tomorrow,
okay.
so I'll be watching at home.
Sorry, you can't go watch Marco play poker. That would have been the highlight for everybody, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
And by the way, remind everybody how easy it is to get that mobile app installed.
Oh, absolutely. You can just go to the App Store, download the mobile app. You don't even need an account to peruse through all of our wagering options, which one of the things we're excited about is on February 17th, we'll be going up with all of our baseball props, including player props, over-under on home runs by guys, over-under on hits by guys, pitching wins, things like that. So you can download it, look through everything, spend a few hours, and then come down. It takes 10 minutes to sign up for the app.
And by the way, I mean, if you're into that, play early because Ed Salmons and all the guys who handle the baseball, they've got a tough task in front of them this year because there's so many players unsigned right now. We're going to see some rosters that aren't the same as projected. And, you know, if you have a good idea of where some guys might land, a.k.a. Bryce Harper, you might be able to find some bargain prices.
Absolutely. And, you know, Randy Blum is in charge of all the baseball, and he's really gone overboard expanding it. We got tons of options, tons more than we had last year, even doing some head-to-head matchups on season wins regionally, like Yankees-Mets, Yankees-Red Sox, things like that.
That is going to be awesome. Thanks, Jeff. It's always a pleasure, man.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Make sure to follow Jeff Sherman on Twitter at Golf Odds. He provides great information, odds updated all the time from Jeff on some of the big events. And so it's the real simple follow at Golf Odds or go to the website, golfodds.com. We'll come back. We'll get to our Joe's Angle of the Day and more college hoops, including tonight's Air Force UNLV matchup at the MAC.
The Las Vegas Sportsline.
Everyone knows that even good people fall on hard times. Your credit cards get maxed out, and you get behind on your taxes. Unfortunately, the IRS is not as understanding, and they won't stop until they collect. They have the power to take your paycheck, freeze your bank accounts. Even your home or business could be at risk. It's simply not worth it to take on the IRS by yourself. You need to call the experts at Optima Tax Relief. When you call, be sure to ask about the Fresh Start Initiative. It's a special IRS tax debt assistance program that could save you thousands, even tens of thousands. Optima will immediately provide you with a team of professionals who could protect you from the IRS, ensuring that you get the best possible outcome. The Better Business Bureau has awarded them an A+ rating, and you will too. So put the hard times behind you and call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Time to start planning for the 2019 swim season. Call B&D Pool Plastering and remodel your tired-looking pool. With B&D's 2019 swim season pricing, beat the rush. For a free estimate, call B&D Pool Plastering, 702-644-8980.
Vegas happens at the iconic Las Vegas Country Club, established in 1967. If the trees on our course and the walls of our clubhouse could talk, they'd tell you stories about PGA Tour and LPGA Tour champions, the biggest business deals in Las Vegas history, and how for 6 decades, this special place has been the social hub of Las Vegas. We're now accepting new individual and corporate members. Visit LasVegasCC.com or call 734-1122 and become part of our story today. The tradition continues.
Looking for something magical to do this Valentine's season? Don't worry. FLM Chocolates is here to help you celebrate at the Lights of Love garden display. From now till February 16th, come brighten up your evening underneath 500,000 gorgeous lights. Perfect for a night with your family, friends, or Valentine. Want a sweet treat for your loved ones? Shop our seasonal favorites like the new XO Cognac Truffles and Chocolate Dipped Strawberries, all handcrafted with love. For more information or to shop now, visit FLM.com.
Cliff Miller with me, Dave Cokin. We're talking about what's happening at MJ Christensen at Boca Park. And let's talk about diamonds because they're a girl's best friend and they're also the most intimidating thing